Hello, everyone. I'm Zach Morang, coming to you, the Detroit Lions podcast, bringing you today's studs and duds from the Detroit Lions victory over the Carolina Panthers. Let's roll that beautiful intro. First off, I'd like to say thank you to Chris and the team for bringing me on. I'm excited to start bringing you more content, not just the writing standpoint over at LionsWire, but video content as well. So please like and subscribe, comment below. Keeps us what we're doing, and I'm happy to be part of this team. But to kick off the studs list, we start with Dylan Drummond. The undrafted wide receiver has made heads and tails of his position on this roster. He has made play after play. He's been consistent through training camp. He has done everything right. He's done everything the coaches have asked. In this game, it was no exception. He caught 4 of his 5 targets from Teddy. He looked right in sync with the offense. His route running was crisp. His twitch and sudden change of direction was evident. I cannot see outside of his special teams value that he doesn't bring some value to this team. It's going to be an interesting case to see what the Lions decide to do on the receiver department. To decide to keep 5 or keep 6. You can't argue the way Drummond has been performing that you can't keep him on this roster. The second player I want to highlight in the studs department is Levi Onwuzurike. Not only his name is hard to pronounce it sometimes, even his roster projections is a little tough to predict. With his long injury list, it's been interesting to see him rise to the challenge and come out and perform. Sometimes he'll disappear and wish he had more. But today against the Panthers, he was strong. He was collapsed in the pocket, providing some strong pressure. Was a stockhold in the run game, and he blew up a screen that didn't even have time to get off the ground. The Lions' defensive line depth is a little short, which is, I could see possibility of why Levi sticks on the team. Hopefully that he's proved enough that he can. I hope so. He's a fun player to watch, and with the defensive battles that have been going on with this throughout the training camp. Next player, Stephen Gilmore. This guy was all over the field against the Panthers. He was breaking up passes left and right. He rose to the challenge. It sure seemed like the Panthers were going after him on a constant basis, but it didn't faze him one bit. He had 4 pass breakups. Yeah, he did allow a couple of big catches, but in the cornerback world, short-term memory is the best memory, and he didn't allow it to faze him one bit, even to a point at the end of the game to seal the victory. He nabbed a pick 6 and made his case for the roster. It'll be interesting. I'm not too sure what the Lions are going to be doing in the secondary department, but Gilmore has made his case to make this team, and it's evident on the field, and the Lions seem to have trusted him. We'll see what happens. I hope he does. He's a fun player to watch, and you can't lie with the results he's been tested with. Next person I want to highlight is Colby Sorsdahl. What a week has changed. Last week we were throwing up in arms of the offensive line depth. What's going to happen? Are we going to sign anyone? Who are we going to trade for anyone? We need offensive line depth. And Colby Sorsdahl rose and showed that he can provide what they need along the line. And not only were they playing him at guard, but they also tested him at right tackle, and it seemed like he succeeded in that area as well, which will help his case is his versatility. It seemed every time Craig Reynolds had a big run, Colby Sorsdahl was the one who was paving the way for him. He's gonna help with that line depth, especially if he can succeed at tackle as well. And then Antoine Green, the guy caught the 70-yard touchdown and was helpful in the kickoff department, which will help his case in the special teams because it seems like he's going to be competing with Dylan Drummond for that wide receiver 5'6" position. Once again, the players rose to the challenge today. With the last preseason game, it was their last chance to show the coaches and the staff what they can do. And Green did not make it easy for the staff on when it comes to cut day. Be interesting to see what happens. I can't wait to see what the Lions do in the wide receiver department, how many they're going to keep. But between Green and Drummond, it didn't seem like you go wrong with either one. But Green definitely made a case for his roster position. And Chase Lucas made a great interception in the red zone. And he was also active in the special teams and on defense as well. I'm sure people have been begging for Lucas to come out and make something. He's been quiet, and he was falling behind when he comes in the secondary department with the rise of Starling Thomas and Stephen Gilmore. Thankfully, he was able to. We'll see what happens. He's definitely been electric at times, but it's been relatively quiet. I'm hoping that he has done enough to make the roster, or might get stashed up. Let's see. I can't help but recognize Teddy Bridgewater. Everyone was up in arms on Teddy last week. He didn't seem insane. Well, no kidding. He didn't have that much time to practice with the team and get ready and get familiar with things. But today he seemed on cue. He looked comfortable. His presence was, and his awareness right there. And it was happy to see that he was able to elevate this game, which shows the strong veteran presence Bridgewater brings to this team, not only as itself, but with the young players for the Lions. Another player I want to highlight in the studs category, as you can see, there's a theme in here. The last preseason game, a lot of people elevated their game. I was happy to see that. I'm a very optimistic guy, so I'm glad to see the players took this and ran with it and left nothing to chance. Another player was Khalil Dorsey. He got the start at a kickoff return. He had a very nice one. It was 62 yards. And later on as well, he forced a fumble. Those are the type of plays you want to see on these fringe roster guys. Like I said, it's going to be tough though. It's it seemed like the cornerbacks really stated their case today in their roster projections. We'll see what happens, but I just want to highlight him because they made plays and he was active on special teams. One more guy I want to highlight. It's because the play he made was absolutely fantastic. It was Corey Durden. Do you remember the scene in The Blind Side? Or just takes the guy and just pushes him forward and puts him on some skates? Well, that's exactly what Durden did. He got on that tackle and he just stiff-armed him and put him on and ran him right into the quarterback. It was fun to watch, especially in the later part of the game where it kind of got a little monotonous, a little dull. But provided a little exciting play with that. It was fun. But as a defensive tackle, they said the depth is there, but we'll see what happens. I'm hoping. It was just a fun play to watch. Now to the unfortunate duds category, and one player on there was Chase Cota. Cota was right along the lines with Drummond and Green on that last couple of receiver spots. You were hoping that he would take the chance and run with it, especially after last couple of weeks. You know, he caught a touchdown last week, but today he just didn't seem in tune. He was dropping passes. He dropped a would-be touchdown. So it was tough to see. It was rooting for Cota, big body receiver. When everyone else was elevating their game, he fell short. And maybe the Lions will be able to stash him on the practice squad. Because he's that big body receiver. You never know. With a little bit more coaching, he might be able to elevate his game more. But today, he did not help his stock. Another was Nate Sudfeld. Only played a handful of snaps after but then he left out for an injury that carted him off. Unfortunately, I don't want to add insult to injury. The plays that he was in just did not give any warm fuzzies, and his injury is not going to help his case with the team. If they were thinking about keeping 3 quarterbacks, and if they were, who knows? And on top of it, his stake with other teams who might be looking for backup quarterbacks, it just did not help his cause. The other player who's been relatively quiet, Julian Okwara. I didn't see him much at all in the impact on the defense. And his name's been thrown out too, that he's not, more likely either he's going to get cut or he's going to get traded. I don't see him making the roster. He was very quiet. I think he only had 1 tackle. And he sustained an injury late in the game, like in the second half, that forced players who you wouldn't think would be on the roster bubble, but it sure seemed like it. Like James Houston, curious why he was playing all throughout the rest of the game for player who might be safe with his roster spot, but that would explain it. The depth on the edge department when you're testing out edge guys is relatively small. You can't help but have your guys sitting out there pushing forward. But Okwara did not help his case at all, even with other teams. So hard to see him latching on. One more player I want to talk about in the Duds department is Riley Patterson. It seemed like the Lions leaned on Patterson throughout the game. They didn't give Parker Romo a shot today. And they tested out his leg at a 51-yard, and he just hit it off the crossbar, but that's probably about his range anyway. But it's what happened at the end when he missed this extra point. Not something you want to see from your kicker, especially during this so-called kicker battle. But I think his spot's safe. I think he's going to be the Lions kicker anyway. But it was just sad to see him miss those easy kicks. Hopefully he'll be able to turn around when the Lions open up with the Chiefs. I'd like to say thank you for coming, watching out. I really appreciate it. I can't wait to continue doing more videos with you guys. Like I said, happy to be part of the team. You're used to seeing this mug on a constant basis, and I can't wait to ride this journey with you guys coming through the season. So cheers. Hope you have a good weekend, and go Lions.